What happens when rock royalty collides with surf rock legends in the most unexpected musical mashup of the 80s? The answer might just blow your mind. Picture this. It's July 4th, 1985, and concertgoers expecting a typical Beach Boys show suddenly witness Jimmy Page, yes, the Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, casually strolling onto the stage with his iconic Fender Telecaster. Talk about a plot twist that nobody saw coming. This wasn't just any random jam session. This was a moment when two completely different musical worlds collided in the most spectacular way possible. On one side, you had the legendary guitarist whose thunderous riffs helped define hard rock and heavy metal. On the other, the masters of harmonious surf rock and sun-soaked California vibes. At first glance, they seemed about as compatible as oil and water, but here's where it gets fascinating. The magic happened during what should have been an ordinary Independence Day celebration. Nearly 5 years had passed since Led Zeppelin's world came crashing down with the tragic death of drummer John Bonham, effectively ending one of rock's most influential bands. Page found himself in a musical limbo, searching for new creative outlets and collaborations. But fate had other plans. During a historic doubleheader performance, first in Philadelphia, then later that same evening in Washington, D.C., Page made his surprising entrance wearing a vibrant Hawaiian shirt that couldn't have been more different from his usual dark, mysterious stage persona. The visual alone was enough to make jaws drop, but what followed was pure musical gold. The setlist included a rousing cover of Little Richard's timeless classic, Lucille, and naturally, Page seized the moment to showcase exactly why he's considered one of guitar's greatest virtuosos. His signature solos cut through the Beach Boys' signature harmonies like lightning through cotton candy, unexpectedly beautiful and absolutely electrifying. Page himself later reminisced about this incredible experience in a 2019 Instagram post, sharing rare video footage that captured the essence of this once-in-a-lifetime collaboration. Philadelphia and Washington were played on this memorable day, and we traveled by train between the two cities, he reflected with obvious fondness. Mr. T was also on that trip. I became quite friendly with Beach Boy musician Bruce Johnston. It was an honor to meet Brian and Carl Wilson and play with the Beach Boys on this historic day. However, we don't celebrate July 4th in England. This statement reveals something fascinating about cross-cultural musical connections. How artists can transcend geographical boundaries and traditional holidays to create something truly special together. And this is the part most people miss. This Beach Meets Rock collaboration wasn't just a random one-off event. It happened during what would become one of the most pivotal months in rock history. Just 9 days later, on July 13th, Page would find himself on stage again, this time reuniting with his Led Zeppelin bandmates, Robert Plant and John Paul Jones, for their legendary Live Aid performance at Philadelphia's John F. Kennedy Stadium. It marked the first time the surviving members had performed together since Bonham's death, with Phil Collins and Tony Thompson stepping in to handle drumming duties. But here's where it gets controversial. While the Live Aid reunion was undoubtedly historic, it wasn't exactly the triumphant return many fans had hoped for. Critics were quick to point out that Plant's voice sounded hoarse and strained, while Page appeared to struggle with his performance. Some even suggesting he was intoxicated and playing an out-of-tune guitar throughout the set. Phil Collins, attempting to fill impossible shoes, was left to improvise his way through some of the most iconic drum parts in rock history. This raises a fascinating question. Was Page's more relaxed, collaborative performance with the Beach Boys actually superior to his highly anticipated Led Zeppelin reunion? The Beach Boys gig showcased Page in a completely different light, loose, experimental, and clearly enjoying himself without the enormous pressure and expectations that came with the Zeppelin legacy. Interestingly, the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson also performed at Live Aid, creating an unusual full-circle moment where both acts that had collaborated just days earlier found themselves sharing the same historic stage once again. The contrast between these two performances highlights something profound about artistic expression. Sometimes the most memorable moments happen not when we're trying to recapture past glory, but when we're open to unexpected partnerships and creative risks. This collaboration also demonstrates how musical genres that seem incompatible on paper can create magic when the right artists come together with open minds and mutual respect. The Beach Boys' sunny harmonies and Page's dark, powerful guitar work shouldn't have worked, but they absolutely did. What do you think made this partnership so special? Was it the element of surprise, the mutual respect between legendary artists, or simply the magic that happens when creative boundaries are thrown out the window? And here's the real question that might divide opinions. Do you believe Page's relaxed collaboration with the Beach Boys was actually more successful than his pressurized Led Zeppelin reunion just days later? Share your thoughts. Was this the kind of artistic risk-taking we need more of? Or do you think some musical worlds are better left separate?